Hey, everybody. Welcome to So Many Sequels, your book club for movies. I'm Josh.
I'm Garrett.
And I'm David.
And it is So Many Scares month on the show. We're doing our scary movies for October month. Every
Yes.
Halloween, the movie club goes spooky.
For book scares.
Yes.
Oh.
You know, there's horror books.
Yeah. That's almost all exclusively read. Stephen King, Dane Koontz.
That's fair, yeah. Joe Hill, he's a good one.
Joe Hill. Yes, absolutely.
Well, it's the other Grady Hendrix. I like him a lot. I got a couple of his
Beverly
books back
Cleary.
there.
I'm
But
reading
you
the Black Phone stories now by Joe Hill. As we'll talk about later, the Black Phone 2 just came out, and we love the Black Phone here on So Many Sequels. I'm
Edgar
reading
Allan
the
Poe.
stories.
I saw something on that note that annoyed me the other day. You know, sometimes the way they word these headlines or these gotcha posts or whatever on social media,
Yeah.
it was a picture of the Black Phone, and it said, and it said something like, the director of the Black Phone didn't want to make a sequel until Stephen King's son called him with an idea. And I was like, wait a minute, that's just the author of the fucking story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You mean when the creator of the story had an idea?
Yeah.
Like, I know what you're doing, but it wasn't just Stephen King's son called and said, I want
Yeah.
another movie.
Yeah,
That's how they made it
we-
seem.
we actually mentioned that in our Black Phone podcast
Yeah.
we did way back during book club month at the beginning of this year. We mentioned how by virtue of the Black Phone being made, the writer of the original story was like, I got an idea for a sequel, I think. And
Bing,
then
bam,
pitched
boom.
that to Scott Derrickson. Boom, boom. We get a movie.
And none of us on the show have seen it yet. I know
No,
at least some
want
of us
to.
want to. But the word on the street I'm hearing is some are saying it's better than the sequel, or better than the first one, which we love to hear when that happens.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Big year for Ethan Hawke.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Big year
Tulsa
for
Zone.
Ethan
So
Hawke.
hot right now.
Tulsa Zone. We've claimed him. Don't care.
Yeah.
Don't know. I think he's from New York, right? I don't care. He's from
Probably.
Tulsa now.
Who
No,
knows?
he's Tulsan.
Yeah. Oh my. Don't be dropping stuff.
Apologies.
Anyway, welcome to the show we do here. You should subscribe on YouTube or Spotify or wherever you get podcasts to follow along with us all month and year long as we go through Friday the 13th for So Many Scares. That's the theme. So Many Scares versus Jason. And today we're going to be, or not today, this week, we're going to be talking about Jason X, which I believe is it X because
To
it's
the
your 10th
extreme.
movie?
10th movie,
Yes.
yes.
Okay, that's what I figured. Like the iPhone. We're going to be talking about Jason X, so stay tuned for that.
Yeah.
But let's talk about what else we've been watching this week. You guys have been going crazy on Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
All the in-betweens, because we're not doing them all for the show.
Right.
We did 1, we did 6, this is 10,
Yeah.
and then...
Did 2 as well.
And we did
The
2
reboot.
as well, right. And then I think we're also doing the reboot.
Yeah, the
Yes.
09 reboot,
Which is,
yes.
I don't even know if you count that as a number. I think that's just starting back at 1.
Yeah.
So,
And you start back at 1.
like, that's not number 12 or whatever, right? That's number 1 again.
It's the 12th movie in the franchise, I guess, but it is a new continuity.
So we've got all that to look forward to coming up. Before you guys talk about that, though, let's go into some of the other stuff we've been watching. I grabbed a month subscription to Shudder. You know, the
Good call.
kind of not low key. They're bigger now, but it's just horror streaming basically. And I thought this might be a good place to find some cool stuff I haven't seen before or off the beaten path stuff. And it has been. I started a show the other day called, it's one of those countdown shows. It's like the 100 scariest movie moments of all time, something like that. Pretty fun. But then I watched this movie called Deadstream that I saw came with a lot of recommendations from the online community. And it was goofy, let me tell you that much. I don't know that it was like amazing, but the basic premise is it's a horror comedy. It's trying to be funny. It's a YouTuber who is doing like a version of a live stream, like a Twitch stream from a haunted house. But he is part of the joke is that he's been canceled in the past, and he's trying to come back, and this is like his big stunt to get back his viewers back, and it turns out the house is really haunted. That's the premise there.
Yeah.
It was fun. I think that's a recommendation, even though it's not great. It's fun.
Sometimes a fun, scary, bad movie is
Yeah,
a
because
great way to go.
it's one of those. I guess you'd call it like a new era of found footage, because it's not found footage, but it is like internet footage. Kind of like those other movies that take place through a screen.
Searching and
like
missing.
searching and
Oh,
missing.
yeah, we found a word for that, but I can't remember what it was now.
This one is like you're watching a YouTube stream, I guess. Not so much there's not like a bunch of clicking around and stuff like those movies, but there's a couple little things where you're like, oh yeah, this is it's not Twitch, it's like lived or something they've made up. But all throughout it, every now and then, like comments will pop up on the screen from the live viewers. Is funny. But that's Deadstream on Shudder.
Fascinating.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah. I think it came out this year too as a new one.
Oh, okay.
Nice. Very cool.
Garrett, you have another horror movie on your list. What did you think of Terrifier? I know I saw a little bit of that movie with you. One scene in particular. It's what's coming to my mind.
Yeah. I had never seen the Terrifier franchise, and as we are going through Jason and Friday the 13th, I feel like Art the Clown in the Terrifier franchise has really become the modern day slasher that the cult horror audience has been watching. So it's like, you know what? I'll give it a shot. I don't really know much about it. I'll dive in. It was messed up and weird. It was like an hour and a half long, and I think the first hour was really I found really interesting. They set up Art in a really terrifying way. I mean, he doesn't talk. He's just this weird, creepy, scary clown following this woman and being a weird, creepy clown. And then he gets crazy and murdery. And then at one point in time, I remember going, oh my God, how much time is left? And there was like another, I mean, we hadn't even made it halfway through yet. And I was like, oh no, oh no, oh no. So it really got tough, really leaned into the shock value of horror. To success, I would say, David, the scene that Josh is referencing is he saws in half an upside down naked woman.
From the middle
In the
down?
middle.
Like Jason did in that one.
From the middle down, if you understand that visual. And it was disturbing.
She did the splits.
And he really enjoyed it. She did the splits, and he saw it right in half, and like the whole body, almost down all the way through the skull. And like that's a strong clown. That's the scariest part. I mean, it was just a hacksaw too. He didn't have like a chainsaw. It was just a hacksaw.
Yeah. Yuck.
So it was a lot. I started to watch the second one just out of curiosity. And the second one is like 2 hours. And then I decided, nope.
Can't be good.
Said, I don't think I can handle that. So Art the Clown, Terrifier franchise, I don't know. I think that if you're a real indie horror person, I think that you'll like it. I did not like it. It was just messed up.
Interesting. What's his deal? What's Art's deal? Is he a undead? Is he a being, a creature, or is like a Pennywise, or is he just a guy in a clown suit?
Based on the first one, I'm not sure.
They don't even go there.
Not really. He's just kind of messed up. And then there's kind of like a fake death, re-alive moment type thing. So I'm not sure at this moment if he's supernatural or if he's just wild and crazy. Somebody who's more well-versed and has paid more attention to it might know, but I'm not confident they covered it.
Yeah, I would, it's interesting that, the horror icons have not been, there's not been as many really over the last few years. I mean, you can make an argument,
12
obviously.
Jason movies.
You can make an argument for Jigsaw, obviously, in the early aughts, and then you can make you could maybe make a pitch for like Annabelle or something, but I don't think she quite reached the levels of of other characters. So yeah, it's just kind of an interesting time to create that new horror icon. We gotta, how can we get there?
You would not like the Terrifier.
No, I
franchise
don't
movie.
I don't even like the still shots I've seen.
Yeah, not for David.
But David, you have been watching. I'm going to call these palate cleansers. I think compared
Yes.
to this. What you've been watching a couple TV shows, classic TV shows.
Yes.
One that I
We-
hadn't heard in, I don't think, since the Obama administration.
Years and years ago.
Spoken out loud.
So I discovered Matlock, the original Matlock, the 1988 through 1996 series was available to stream on Prime.
Okay.
And
Just making sure you hadn't discovered it for the first time.
no, I mean, I watched it like crazy as a kid. I was such an old person as a child.
Yes,
But
where
I
have you
loved
been all my
Matlock.
life. Why have we not talked about this? Because Matlock
We-
comes up at all of the time.
We need to do, Matlock
Matlock.
podcast,
Yes.
There's got to be a way we can make that work. And if we want to rope in Diagnosis Murder,
Matlock.
because my wife,
Matt talk.
we were talking about it,
Ooh.
and I was talking about how much I liked Matlock as a kid. She goes, what show me and my family watched a lot was Diagnosis Murder. And that sparked something in my head of like, I didn't watch Diagnosis Murder a lot, but I remember it being there. Matlock, and like Murder, She Wrote were like all on around the same time. And so I was like, I wonder if that's somewhere. So we found on Hallmark Plus. So we got a little temporary 1-month stream of Hallmark Plus has all of Diagnosis Murder.
Why
And
the
you know what
hell
we
does
found?
Hallmark have it?
I
Is that
don't
the
know.
one with Dick Van Dyke?
That is the one with
Yeah.
Dick Van Dyke, and he is a
Okay.
doctor who is also a police consultant for crimes.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
we discovered the best thing ever, which is that there is a Matlock Diagnosis crossover that took place in 1996 in which Dick Van Dyke calls his old buddy Matlock to help him defend one of his colleagues. And it was so delightful because Matlock's all curmudgeon-y. It's actually, the funny thing is, it's a crossover that takes place after Matlock had finished airing. Like, Matlock was over.
Mm.
And so he came back like a year later to reprise the role of Matlock for Diagnosis Murder because him and Dick Van Dyke were like really good friends, apparently, offset. And so we watched that. We watched the crossover. It's like a 2.5, it's like a 2-parter. And then I made her watch the first episode of Matlock, which guess who's on the first episode of Matlock? Dick Van Dyke.
Dick Van Dyke.
So it is just this. We just reveled in it for a day or two. What I forgot about those shows is they are long. Like they were like, 48-minute, 50-minute, legal and crime dramas. So the episodes are long, and then we watched like a whole half season of Diagnosis Murder, and almost all of them are 2-parters. So you're just like, oh, this story is so long, and there's so many murders. Like there's just so many deaths.
Do they
That's the
ever
diagnosis.
say the diagnosis is murder?
So they have not done that yet, but Nikki told me that Dick Van Dyke, one of his catchphrases on the show was, "He's dead," and I was like, oh, "Can that be a catchphrase?" But
That's not a catchphrase.
He goes almost every. She said it for a while. Almost every episode, they would find the body, and he'd go, "He's dead," and then that's when the theme song comes on. Now the theme song catchy, not quite as catchy as Matlock's, but
I'm scrolling
but-
through the Diagnosis Murder Wikipedia, and there's a whole list of notable guest stars, and I'm just
Yeah.
delighted.
yeah.
There's a season 6 episode with like half the cast of Star Trek
Oh,
and Star Trek: The Next Generation because a
The-
cast member gets abducted by aliens.
there's an episode, Josh, you would love. That's the crime takes place at the All-Star Country Music Awards, and they have Reba McEntire, Billy Ray Cyrus, Joe Diffie, Terry Clark, Eddie Rabbit. Like they got
Does
all
somebody
these
kill
country
Randy
stars.
Travis?
No, basically, I don't know. That might but actually, if you watch the episode, that might be disparaging to Randy Travis. But it's like it's this philandering country star gets killed,
How funny.
and it was a hoot. So
Wow.
a palate cleanser for sure. And I intend to keep going as long as I can, and then I'm gonna look to see if I can't find Matlock on Blu-ray or something.
Nice.
I like it. All right, that's all that we've talked about catch-up wise. We'll save your recaps of the in-betweens of Friday the 13th for our Jason X episode. Look forward to that later in the week. One news story I wanted to talk about because I thought this is interesting. Jim Carrey is in talks to do a live-action movie of the Jetsons. I assume he would be George because he's kind of he's got the look of George Jetson. But I was intrigued because outside of Sonic the Hedgehog, he hasn't branched out in a while. But Sonic the Hedgehog kind of put him back on the successful map. I don't know that you'd say I don't know if you'd say Jim Carrey had fallen off, but he hadn't been in anything like really big.
He had like quietly retired for the most part.
That's what it felt like. And so I remember he did. I can't remember what it was called, but Garrett, you remember that TV show he did? Kidding, where he was like a Mr. Rogers. Oh,
That's sad.
only us watched it. Only we watched it, but it was good. So anyway, now he might be doing a Jetsons movie at Warner Brothers. I don't know. You guys have any attachment to the Jetsons? I actually remember I watched a lot of the Jetsons as a kid when Cartoon Network was actually a Cartoon Network.
Yeah, no, I mean, back in the days when Cartoon Network had a ton of Hanna-Barbera and then a ton of Looney Tunes all at the same time, yeah, I watched the Jetsons, the Flintstones. There was the Jetsons Flintstones movie. Watched those. It's kind of crazy to think that they're going to make this so long after, one, the Jetsons' relevancy, but two, they made that Flintstones movie. I think if that Flintstones movie had been more successful back in the 90s with John Goodman and Rick Moranis, they might have made this Jetsons movie sooner. I can't believe they circled back around to trying to do it. But Jim Carrey would be a good fit for that.
Yeah, absolutely. He can bring that character to life and really put some jazz into it and make it a lot of fun, I think. Again, two different things. One, yes, why bring back the Jetsons? Just make something different. Or something similar, just not called the Jetsons. Like, why? Why? Also, I like the idea only if I feel like I heard this from somewhere else, so I'm stealing somebody's idea. But I wish I could credit them, but I can't. I feel like we've gotten away from envisioning a future. So I feel like if they set up the Jetsons, every video or everything that's set in the future is dystopian.
Everything is dystopian now. You are very true.
I absolutely understand why. But you know what might be fun? Remember when people were envisioning flying cars?
Yeah.
And a lot of this kind of like, what might the future have?
Yes.
If they bring the Jetsons back and they are set into the future and bring some interesting, fun ideas that people can go, wow, that might be interesting to looking to achieve, that could be fun. If the Jetsons are the only ones living in this weird future and the world around them has not lived, I think that could also be fun. So I think there's some things they can do. But if they just bring the Jetsons back and it's like, oh, look at the flying car,
That's such a 90s.
Jetsons are opposite Doomers, where instead of building a bunker underground, they live in the sky.
Yeah.
And they're the only ones who do.
Who act like everything's fine. No, that's such a 90s concept, really, of like the Jetsons are just crazy, or the Jetsons come back in time to 2025 and they see what it's like here. I mean, the humor of the Jetsons is the same as the humor on the Flintstones. It's taking the mundaneness of the 60s and putting it in different time eras, because that's like that was the like the Flintstones are like rolling around, they're like, oh, my wife wants me to do this, but I don't want to go to this party, I want to go to this thing, and so like, and then there's all this humor around like their appliances and their cars and like how how their remote control works, and that's the Jetsons, is like taking that to the future, is like the little mundane aspects of life. I don't know. Well,
it could
I don't
work
know
or
that
it
it
could
can
flop.
work, but
That's
I
it.
mean, it could be like maybe with it being Jim Carrey, maybe there's a chance that the kids who like really love Sonic would get into it, or the kids that, if it's also really like brain rot humor, maybe the Minecraft crowd gets into that and the Jetsons gets a new life out of it. But we'll have to see.
Yeah, I don't know. I honestly am like not terribly interested in. I'd like to see more, but I'm kind of like, well, what would that movie even be that would be of interest? And so unless they do something like you're suggesting, Garrett, that kind of is outside of the norm, and I don't know that I expect that. We'll see, but I could be surprised because oh my gosh, They did a really good
Listen-
job with that Simpson or with that Flintstones movie back in the 90s, so maybe they could do a
Yeah.
good job with this again. And then maybe I would love to see a full comeback of these Hanna-Barberas where
Yeah.
we do a crossover. We do an Avengers Endgame level crossover of John Goodman's Fred Flintstone and Jim Carrey's George Jetson
Mhm.
and the future and the past collide. That's what I want.
Mhm.
You can also throw Matthew Lillard in there and
Yeah,
his
Scooby-Doo-
Shaggy and
the
Scooby.
Scooby-Doo
They're
gang.
Hanna-Barbera.
We get Jabberjaw. We get Yogi Bear in there somewhere.
Really?
Oh my
This
God, the
just
whole
needs
thing
to
is
be-
directed by James Gunn? What?
Well, so
Yeah.
this movie will be directed by Colin Trevorrow, apparently, of Jurassic
Oh,
World something
yeah.
fame. Yeah, no, I think we're onto something now because really all they have to do is go back into that digital world they created in Space Jam: A New Legacy, where all the
Yes.
WB characters just break out and live together.
hang
That's
out.
what they need to do.
Yeah.
And it's Jim Carrey and
Yeah.
John Goodman
Yes.
and Halle
And-
Berry
That'd be awesome.
and I don't know whoever they
Rosie
were.
Rosie
cast
O'Donnell's
O'Donnell.
in that. Yeah.
Rosie, yeah.
Kevin McLaughlin.
Could Rosie be Rosie the robot in this?
I think.
Ooh.
She's
Oh
already
my gosh,
Rosie.
I had an idea for who was going to be Rosie, and then it blanked out of my head. But the casting on this is going to get very it person. You know,
Well,
like I
that's-
could see Judy Jetson is Sabrina Carpenter or Ariana
Oh my
Grande
God,
or
I hope
something like
not.
that.
Not if it's matched with Jim Carrey. We'll ask Chat to cast it. He'll do a good job.
Oh yeah.
All right, that will bring us to the weekend box office update. Kind of a quiet weekend, but the Black Phone 2 did open. How are
Yes.
things cooking in the October box office this weekend?
Yeah. Black Phone 2 opened to 26.5 million domestically and I think 42 million worldwide for a pretty decent opening weekend against a I think $30 million budget for the sequel to the Black Phone. So overall, based on what I was reading, that seems to be a pretty positive response there. That's a little better than early estimates, and it's a good movie for this time of year. It's good, it kind of fits the Halloween horror vibe a little bit. Tron Ares falls at number 2 at 11.1 million. That movie's not performed to the expectations that I think did a loftier expectations. Good Fortune, starring Keanu Reeves, Aziz Ansari, broke out with number 6.2 million. One Battle After Another slides down to number 4 with 4 million, and then Roofman stays at number 5 with 3.7 million. Some more movies opening wide next weekend include Blue Moon, Regretting You, Springsteen, Deliver Me From Nowhere, and then Chainsaw Man the movie. So those are your movies opening the weekend of October. What is that? The 25th, I think, or 26th. October 24th. Sorry, got it right there.
There's the weekend. Okay, cool. I'm excited for the Springsteen movie. I've heard good things about Jeremy Allen White's performance. But you can stay tuned for our review of Jason X coming up later in the week, as well as the rest of our So Many Scares month throughout October. Be sure you subscribe at SoManySequels.com. We're on YouTube, we're on Spotify, we're on Apple Podcasts, we're on everywhere podcasts are streamed and downloaded. So go check it out. Hit subscribe, rate and review if that's an option on your app. All that stuff helps us out. And you can join our Discord and talk to us there about movies. Share what you're watching, what you're not, whatever. That's what we talk about there. SoManySequels.com for all that stuff. Okay, that's it for today. We will see you guys next time. Bye.